Okay, welcome back into this ClickUp setup that we've been doing for these printed circuit boards. I wanted to take another opportunity here to set up the ClickUp space a little bit better so that it's a little bit more ready for a real design. So this is what everyone should see right here. This is where we left off in the last video. This is where you're gonna build from. You should have this test. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make this test task a little bit more legit. So we're going to assign ourselves, I should say me. I'm going to put a due date on here. We're going to call the due date, and we're going to say we're going to start today. And I guess I should explain that a little bit more. So you see the highlighted up here. If you click whichever side the blue is around when you click on the calendar, I'm going to set that as the date. So this left side is the start date. This right side is the end date. You can also add time in here. So if there's a task that's time pertinent, let's say we want by 11:59 today. 11:59. You can put that in. So this would be due by midnight, right? So start date is today, and it should be done by midnight. That's setting a due date. We can set a priority. We're going to call this a high priority. Priorities, if you're familiar with any project management design structure, priorities can be used as a good flag to say, hey, this is something that we need to take care of soon, or I need to get someone else to help me take care of it. I think where they get useful, at least where I know they get useful, is when you start implementing the Eisenhower matrix into it, which I'm not going to go into. But so use them however you wish, research how you want to use them. I find that when I do use them, my projects go better. So I'd recommend trying to use it, but I'm not going to be checking people. Time estimate's a big one. I really like time estimating, and unfortunately in ClickUp you have to pay to track time. Again, I won't make you track time. I think it would be really good practice to track time. You can use Clockify. Track time is usually the simplest one that I know of to use. Otherwise you can just use a spreadsheet. It's really good engineering practice to be able to try to estimate your time and then see if you hit it. Where it gets, and it's kind of important because, like in my current job, I have to estimate how long a project's going to take. That's how much we bill the client for. And if I estimate too low, client's going to be unhappy when I come back and ask for more money for the project. And if I estimate too high, I might lose the job because they'll go with someone cheap. So getting good at practicing time estimating is a huge thing that I really encourage you to do on this. So hopefully this video should not be more than 15 minutes. So if you want to go hours, you put in an H. Minutes, you put in an M. I don't know why you'd want seconds. I don't even think you can, but we're going to go 15 minutes. Dependencies. This becomes a little bit more important when there's more tasks. I'll go into more detail when we have more tasks, but the idea is for you to say you can tag certain tasks as this blocks other tasks, or this is waiting on other tasks is the idea. I'll add those into dependencies. We'll look more at. Phase progress is a custom field I added. This will, as it says, it'll simply check how far you are on your subtasks and your checks. We're not going to go super deep into customizing this today. We'll see some of that as I work through our design project. But as you can see, you can also update all these fields. And dependencies are relationships. And there's also tags. I haven't found a use for tags, but so that's a task. Let's add another one. We'll call this one 2. We're going to make this one due next week just for fun. See why. Make this one a normal priority. This one will take 2 hours. Got it. And we'll say that this is waiting. As you can see, it has a depend. You can see it's waiting because it has the little exclamation point or the yellow triangle. You can see this one's blocking because it has a circle with a dash through it. So those are quick ways to see, hey, this task is getting in the way of stuff. And then you can see, oh, it's getting in the way of this test 2 tasks, so we got to get this done so we can get the other stuff done. So that's some of the task view. This is a list view. This is the default ClickUp view. Some people will be more accustomed to other views or prefer other views. So I'm going to set this up how I would. If you don't want to spend time diving into ClickUp and understanding everything, then I copy what I'm doing. Great if you dove in here. One of the things you'll find is a lot of this stuff, they tease you. The free version, you can only use these things so much. Don't dive super hard into, especially like some of these more views in this forum. It's part of the free. Get free uses, but it'll stop itself. So one of the views I always like to add is calendar. This gives you a good view of your tasks on that calendar view. I think most of us, especially with Google Calendar these days, are used to seeing that. I would always, like before, make closed ones show up so you can see past. So when you add a new view like this, you can also do this in the list. This customize button is what's going to get you to see some of the things you see. So if we look under this customize view, you can see we've got a bunch of things here. We've got time format. If you're a military time person, you can military time. So weekends probably will work in a normal work week. Week numbers I've found can be somewhat helpful. 40, 41, 42, 43, what week and month it is. I would turn them on. Some of this stuff is color task by task status is fine. The weekend default to me mode. Me mode is, you're only going to see stuff relevant to you, which we're already kind of doing with the way we're building our folders, our projects. Another way we could have done this is everybody is in the same one, but with a bunch of different lists. But I think that would have been a little. That type of me mode is more important if you're working folder space. Back into customize, I want subtasks. That's a big one, and this should be pretty close to automatically what it is. But I want, this sync with calendar. You can do. I've found it doesn't really do a good job, but it is supposed to hook up to your if you set that up. Fields, this is a big one. Underneath sync calendar here. I like to see assignee. I like to see the time estimate. I like to see subtasks. I like to see the priority. So, save that. So what this has done is it's populated some things. As you can see, we have the time estimate of whose it is, priority. And this is just a good way to get the information you need out of this thing. You can add some of these things in if you really want them. Just haven't found them useful. But your calendar view, use it however you would like. Filter, filter has a lot of different things. I don't exactly know what ClickUp's filters are, so I'm not going to use them because I don't know. They're probably helpful, but and then the rest of this stuff, autosave for me. I like having that on so that when I make adjustments, I don't have to save it. It safer to log out. You can make this a template, so if you know you're going to reuse this view a lot, you can save as a template, and that'll just let you import templated view. I'm going to do that here. And is good. So this is my calendar setup. This is how I like to do it. One of the other ones that people will find helpful usually is the is a Kanban board. This is very, very, very similar to what you'll see in some project management design, where everything is board based. It's not list based. In here, we want to see assignee. We just want to see dates. Dates created is not super important. What we're doing. Status should be part of the column, so be something you date closed is helpful. I like having date closed on because it tells you when the thing closed out. These task types I don't really think they're not. Don't get these, so those task types are part of the free, the paid version. And the big one here we want to add time estimate. I don't know why that's not default. I don't get it, but time estimate. I want to see how long things are going to take. That's the thing. So that's the fields I want. The group. Add a subgroup. Ooh. That's fun. So I don't necessarily think most people find this super helpful, but if we were working on a big team, you could group it by assignee. What may be helpful is to group it by you may like. Date is interesting. I don't think I want it. But that's good for bigger teams. What do I want to sort by? Status is fine. Necessarily care too much. Subtasks. Here, let's check some here. Status subtask. Subtasks are helpful for you don't want to have every little task as the big one. You want to have a big and we'll go into this when we start doing it. I want us to be able to say it's something like a big idea of a project and then a bunch of little subtasks underneath. So underneath this test, we're going to confirm subtask. View on other views. That's one of the that's what I want to do. So I'm going to make that subtask. I'm going to assign it to me still. This one's a normal priority. And today, yada yada. 59. It's a good habit to get into this stuff. Took me an extra 5 seconds. Do that. I want to see how this populates. So you can see that this is a subtask. This little thing here. Subtasks are going to be things you got to do, so it's helpful that pop up like this. I want to see how it pops up. Yes, I do like that. So for the subtasks, I like them collapsed because go like this and see them. They're not going to take up a ton of space. Some people may prefer it to be in a separate. You can just see everything going on. I'd like to see what they're connected. Once again, autosave. And this is board view. So task by status, calendar, board. This task by status, by the way, is a custom one that I built that will get loaded. So that wouldn't be the way you're up. There's not much to it except for the fact that I've added a lot of these things in here that otherwise wouldn't. So calendar, board. With the rest of these, people like Gantt charts. I think this isn't part of the free. Yeah, not under the free Be nice. Doc. You want a doc. So I think this is good practice for everybody. Design decisions, if I spell it right. Spell this. This is, you want to keep track of why, when, and why you decide things. I think having this doc in your project is a good idea. So we haven't really made any design decisions yet. When we do, we want to say something like N5 decided to organize ClickUp. And this is just a good way to track what you're doing. You may want to put a Y in there usually for easier communication and project track. Plus accountability. So this is kind of why we decided to go with ClickUp. Now when you look back, you can say, hey, why did we do this? Let's see if we put in the design. Do yourself a favor. You'll do yourself a really big favor updating this. So we got a task by status calendar, we got our board, design decisions document. This is probably I like any of these. I do like some of these personally. We use them that much. I don't know. I think we will populate. I do like dashboard. I like them. Yeah, you can't. I can use whiteboard part of this too. All these like that. Timeline. It is. Well, we'll put this in. I don't know if it's free, but we'll put it in. Save. It is. Timeline's nice. Different way to see the same thing. Like you can kind of see more task dependent. However, I don't think this is free. Sync. Some of this stuff we may embed, but I think this is a pretty good spot. So I'm sure I'm way over the 15 minute. Oh, not too bad. I would get your ClickUp set up to this point. This is what mine's going to be set up to, and when you watch the videos, I'm going to update it in this view, this form. I'd recommend being on it. One more thing I found. I think I found. Just in my. So another way to get to the chat instead of going up here is to just go into the folder. Yeah, and now our entire workspace goes to chat in. Just a little fun thing. ClickUp has infinite ways to get everywhere. When you make your list, it populates down here. So if you don't want to find your list in the list, just go to the folder. There. This will bring us to the same spot. And we're set up. Oh, and guess what? Did confirm the view. Close that out. Test is done. Close that out. And it's not supposed to be like that. What I was concerned about was the blocking is still up. You can see the blocking. This thing. It's fine now. That's too. I like a clean setup, so I'm just going to get rid of these. And yeah, so that's ClickUp. Like I said, I'm not just going to say, have fun with this. Start designing. I'm going to use it while I design. I'm going to put it on these videos so you can see how I'm using it. I will show you what I'd consider the bare minimum. I'd always encourage you to do more. The more you can organize, the better. I think that wraps up the ClickUp setup. Next time, we are going to set up version control on our designs. We'll probably use GitHub for it. That'll be a bit of a thing we got to do. I got to decide how we got to see if maybe there's something better. But we will talk about version control more next time. Talk to you guys later and hope this all made sense. And let me know if it doesn't. Let me know in the chat. ClickUp, not on you. Okay. Thanks, guys, and we will talk again.